£100,000 disappear from bank overnight. Police investigation continues while
A banker let them in after hours for a percentage of the funds.
Theodore Johnson, 45, found shot dead in his London home last Tuesday. His wife Emily is still missing.
The wife shot him and ran off with another man.
Oliver Thompson, 26, fell victim to a brutal beating by a group of men he was unable to identify.
He borrowed money from some important political figure and was unable to pay it back. Finally, perhaps a case of interest. Do come in.
Good afternoon, Mr. Holmes. My name is Amelia Moore, and I am very much hoping that you will be able to help me.
Please take a seat. This is my colleague, Dr. Watson. I see that you are unmarried as you wear no ring, and the graphite on your hands and several layers of mud on your boots suggest that you enjoy drawing outdoors often and likely hold no position of employment. And your dress is expensive, yet the style is more than several years old, which leads me to believe that you once had a good deal of money but lost it.
Well, I suppose you saved me the trouble and embarrassment of having to relay that information myself. You see, my family was wealthy, but when my father died, we lost all the money we had. Several years went by, and my mother became very ill. When she passed on, she left me the beautiful emerald necklace my father had given her, which she had refused to pawn. My older brother and I remained on the family's estate in Surrey, living modestly within our means, with the elderly caretaker, Mr. Edwards. He had been so good to us since my father died, he even offered to cut his salary in half, as he knows we could no longer afford it. But he is known to be a gambler, and he recently lost a fair amount of money on a horse. Every night, before I go to sleep, I lock the door to my bedroom, remove the emerald necklace, and place it in the drawer on the table beside my bed. On the night before last, I was awakened by a loud noise. I lit a candle and instinctively looked in the drawer for my necklace. It was gone! I then unlocked my bedroom door to find Mr. Edwards on the floor, unconscious. In his old age, he has developed a tendency for fainting spells, which are often brought on by stressful situations. As I stooped next to poor Mr. Edwards, I found a hairpin upon the floor, which he must have used to unlock the door, as the only key besides my own has been missing for months. My screams had woken my brother, who came rushing down the hall from his own bedroom. He called for the police, and Mr. Edwards was arrested and searched, but the necklace was not found on him. Having heard of your work, Mr. Holmes, I hope that by consulting you, you will be able to free my dear old caretaker and recover my lost necklace.
The most obvious course of action would be to pay a visit to Mr. Edwards, and then I will need some time to think this matter over. Good evening, Mr. Edwards. I believe Inspector Lestrade informed you that we would be visiting.
Can't say he did, sir.
Well then, I am Sherlock Holmes. My colleague, Dr. Watson, and I are here to inquire about the recent events at the Moore estate in Surrey.
I didn't take it. I admit I had intended to, sir, but the last thing I remember is standing outside her bedroom door, and then everything went black.
Are you experiencing any pain in your head, Mr. Edwards?
Yes, sir. Right here.
Lestrade, would you be so kind as to unlock this door and allow Dr. Watson to inspect his head?
He appears to have been struck by some blunt object.
Just as I thought. I suggest we take the morning train to Surrey.
Oh, Mr. Holmes, won't you come in? My brother should be home shortly. He's gone out on business this morning.
Thank you, Miss Moore, but we were only hoping to have a look at the lock on your bedroom door.
Why, yes, of course. It's just up the stairs. Have you had any luck in finding my necklace, Mr. Holmes?
I believe I have an understanding of the events as they took place the night it disappeared, and perhaps now I can prove certain theories to be true. Is this your room?
Yes.
Amelia? You silly girl, why have you shown our guests upstairs instead of to the sitting room?
Gentlemen, this is my brother, Frederick Moore.
Ah, Mr. Moore, would you please point me in the direction of your bedroom?
It's just 2 doors to the right.
Thank you. Now, would you point me to where you hid the emerald necklace? Don't bother, I already have a fairly good idea of where it is.
Oh, Amelia, can you ever forgive me?
Inspector Lestrade, arrest this man.
What's the meaning of this? Who are you?
I am Sherlock Holmes, consulting detective. Come along, Watson.
You know, Holmes, I still don't understand how you knew it was the brother.
No. Well, upon hearing the young lady's account, it was obvious that there was another person involved. When we visited Edwards, he admitted to no accomplice, and the bump on the left side of his head suggested that he had been attacked from behind by a left-handed man. This man must have stolen the necklace from the lady's bedroom right before Edwards had arrived to make his attempt.
Ah, yes. It was the blow to his head that had made the noise which had awakened her.
Exactly, but she assumed it was the old man's body collapsing to the floor on its own accord. When I inspected the lock on the bedroom door, I discovered that it had not been tampered with. The real thief must have had the spare key, which had been missing for several months. My suspicions of the brother were confirmed when he returned home smelling of opium. His bad habits had become too expensive, and he planned to pawn his sister's necklace to fund his addiction. To implicate him further, I asked him to point me in the direction of his bedroom. He must have noticed that he used his left hand to do so, as a left-handed man would. He had unlocked his sister's room, stolen the necklace, and was most likely relocking the door when he heard someone on the stair. He dropped the necklace into the most convenient hiding place, the vase, and hid behind the curtain. When Edwards was preparing to pick the lock, he crept up behind him and hit him over the head, thus rendering him unconscious. He then dashed back to his own room, coming out again to respond to his sister's screams.
Excellent.
Elementary.